James Gunn just cleared up the biggest questions about what's canon in the new DC universe, and it's something that every fan needs to know. From Creature Commandos to Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, Gunn's comments are helping shape the future of the DCU. Plus, we'll also look at what's new this week on physical, digital, and streaming platforms, because this is Movie Mornings, your daily dose of movie news with a cup of coffee. That's right, everybody. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. We've officially made it through Monday. Thank the Lord, I guess, if that's what you want to say. Oh man, what a Monday it was. Am I right? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing today? You feeling good? You feeling energized? Oh, that's a great cup of coffee, let me tell you. Good times are ahead. Let's get into it. So let's go ahead and jump into this whole James Gunn thing, and we'll do an update on what it means for the future of DC films and shows. So basically what's happened here is James Gunn was on BlueSky. I don't know if he posted this anywhere else, but there was a fan that reached out to him. It goes by Mitch 26, I guess it's XXVI, so I'm assuming it's Roman numerals. It says, at James Gunn, finally got to finish watching Creature Commandos, and it was hilariously brilliant. I would have to agree with that. But I do have one question after watching. Is the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker fully DCU canon because most plot points in them were either referenced or followed up on in Creature Commandos? Now, just to be clear, the next bit of information is going to be considered a spoiler if you've not seen Creature Commandos. I mean, it doesn't really give away the plot points of Creature Commandos, but just know that, you know, the state of the universe is kind of talked about in the next comments. So just want to give you a heads up. Again, doesn't really give away like the ending or anything, but just the state of the universe that we're in. So if you've not seen any of the things mentioned, Creature Commandos, Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, then, you know, fair warning. All right, let's get back to it. So James Gunn says, short answer, only Creature Commandos forward is pure canon. For instance, Rick Flag Jr. was killed because we heard Rick Flag Sr. talking about it in Creature Commandos, not because we saw it in the Suicide Squad. He goes on to say the long answer, only Creature Commandos forward is pure canon. Peacemaker is almost entirely consistent with that canon, other than the Justice League cameo. The Suicide Squad has a lot of consistencies, but I think of it as an imperfect memory. End quote. So, obviously, there's been a bit of discussion about what exactly is canon in this new DCU. I know, especially when James Gunn was first talking about how Creature Commandos is the first project within the DCU, but the Superman movie is the beginning of the DCU. And, you know, obviously there's people confused, like, well, is the Flash part of it? Is Blue Beetle's been discussed as possibly still being a part of it? Peacemaker's getting a season 2, so what does that mean for that and how it all interconnects with the old Snyderverse? And I feel like it's been understood for the most part what all of that means, but again, James Gunn just kind of doubling down on clarifying exactly what the canonicity is for most of the projects in the DCU, which I always appreciate. First and foremost, I think one thing you got to keep in mind with James Gunn is I don't think canon will... I mean, like, he'll definitely uphold canon, full stop. But I think that he won't let canon keep him from telling a story that he wants to tell. So I think he'll do his best to not let that happen. For instance, take a look at Avengers Infinity War and Endgame and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Right. Obviously, when we leave Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, the state of the Guardians is very much, good. Right. Like, Groot is now a teenager. Gamora is there. All of that stuff. And then, of course, we had the Christmas special, too. But then when we get into Volume 3, we see that Gamora is, part of the Ravengers now. And there's this whole thing about like the family falling apart and all that bunch of stuff, where it takes into account the events of Infinity War, and even Thor, Love and Thunder, I guess, that are also taken into account. But those things, for the most part, don't really affect them, right? You could say like, obviously the Gamora stuff, but there could have, just to skip ahead, she could have just been a part of the Ravagers and us just figuring out what the heck happened, right? So, again, I think that's a good way of seeing like, yes, he will take canon into account, but he's going to tell whatever story he wants to tell, even if that means kind of going back on some things. So I just want to put that out there before we start diving even deeper into this whole canonicity thing. But essentially, it's pretty straightforward, I think. People are making it maybe a little more complicated than it needs to be. Obviously, exactly what he said, Creature Commandos is 100% canon. That is the first full 100% canon. Peacemaker will be mostly canon, with the exception of the ending of the season 1 where the Justice League shows up. I actually saw this guy, I wish I could remember who posted it, but I think it was on TikTok. This guy said, here's the idea for how you fix that ending. And essentially, you just act like Peacemaker was the one telling the story from that ending, basically telling everybody what had happened, and, talks about the Justice League showing up, and then being like, what are you talking about? And he's like, oh, well, I told Aquaman he does things. I can't really say because we don't want to get explicit tag. And they're like, oh, you're full of crap. And basically it's a lie, right? So like I forget what it's called, but it's the narrator, untrustworthy narrator, something like that. Which I like. I think that's a fun way of dealing with it. And Suicide Squad being kind of canon. I think all of that really, I think what you have to take in mind with this is that, one, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, first off, like, it doesn't matter. Like, in order to enjoy anything in the DCU, I do not believe you're going to have to go back and watch, like, the Suicide Squad or Peacemaker Season 1. Now, when you want to watch Peacemaker Season 2, do you want to watch Season 1? Yeah, of course. And you'll just have to use your knowledge as a human with a brain to know that there's not the DCEU Justice League in the new DCU. And like, sure, he could pull a George Lucas and go back and, re-edit that ending to be something different, so that it appears as though it always matched his vision. But I think it's, we just use our critical thinking skills, and that, we know that that's not the Justice League, and don't worry about it. Like, I don't know. I'm a huge nerd, and I was a sucker for canon for so long. And, I hated when things did not match up. I thought everything had to be precise, like, especially with like Smallville. I was very, very much like, oh, this has to lead into the Christopher Reeve stuff. Like, it has to. And like, no, like, canon, it doesn't really matter. Like, at the end of the day, if canon is great when it makes a good story better, but canon should never be, like, canon should never outweigh quality. All right. So like, if you're so beholden to canon that you have to lessen the quality of your project, then screw canon. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, if we all want to play make believe and, be like, oh, but how is there 2 Justice Leagues? Like, who gives a crap? There's not 2 Justice Leagues. Like, that they've reset the universe, and that, Jason Momoa is no longer Aquaman. He's the other guy, Lobo. That. If you're watching this, God knows, you probably know all of this. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like, it's just assume that everything is canon until it's not for any of the James Gunn stuff. And I think, obviously Creature Commandos Forward is 100% canon. You don't have to worry about any of that. But the Suicide Squad, just assume that that's Harley Quinn. Just assume that Captain Boomerang was in it and that he knew the Flash. Like, just assume all of those things until we see that ultimately that isn't the case with some of the stuff. And that's it. When we see maybe a different Harley Quinn, maybe we'll be like, oh, okay, so that Harley Quinn from that movie is no longer canon. Okay. And we just have to retroactively go with that. Because, what do you want? Do you want like an encyclopedia that like breaks it down? Yeah, I'd read that. If I'm being honest. I would take that. That would actually be great. But we make comic books so ridiculously hard to get into because of the decades of lore and continuity that all of them are just crushing under. And it's like, do we really want that with our movies? I don't. I much prefer just to have a good movie. And don't just be all willy-nilly with continuity. Like, try your best, but if somebody does something over here in the Clayface movie, but that differs from what Clayface did in Creature Commandos, then who, does that matter? Like, if the Clayface movie is freaking awesome, if it doesn't line directly up with Creature Command, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'd rather have a good movie. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. I'm willing to accept that. But yeah, I think easy rule of thumb here with James Gunn. Just everything's canon that James Gunn has done until he says or does something that makes it not canon. And you just kind of got to go with it. And I think, honestly, if you're just going into these projects not really worried about that, you're going to have a lot more fun. And you're really going to enjoy these things. That's just me. That's just my thoughts. So, let me know what you think. Let me know if you just completely disagree with that. So, now that we've totally cleared up the confusion for the DC continuity, let's go ahead and talk about what's new this week. From some streaming drops to physical and digital releases, here's what you can watch right now. So, first up, we're going to be talking about the physical releases coming out this week. We got Kill Bill Volume 1 on 4K and Volume 2 on 4K, and Jackie Brown on 4K, so quite a few different ones here. Also, keep in mind, all of these will be listed in the description of this episode if you would like to purchase them from Amazon. We have links to those as well as in the pinned comment if you're watching on YouTube. And these are affiliate links, so if you plan on getting these and you use our link, it actually helps support the channel. So please feel free to do that. We also got The Substance hitting 4K Blu-ray. Maggie and I watched The Substance. I think I've talked about it on here. If I've not, man, what a freaking weird movie. Oh my gosh. I'm glad I watched it. Oh my God. I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to tell you to watch it, but it's very weird, and it had my jaw on the floor. So there you go. If that sounds like something you would be into, then you should watch it. My God, it was a lot. I'll just say it's a lot. Pretty gross also. Not even there's some things in it that's supposed to be gross, but for example, this isn't a spoiler. Somebody's eating shrimp, and it's disgusting. The shrimp is it's all normal. It's all very normal. But the camera is just a close up of the dude's mouth. And it is just the grossest thing I've seen. In a movie full of gross stuff that's supposed to be gross, the shrimp eating was honestly the thing that bothered me the most, if I'm being totally honest. Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2, we got some steelbooks for. Venom The Last Dance hits 4K. Looks like there's also a steelbook for that. Smile 2 hits 4K. The Grifters 4K. I've actually never heard of that. April Fool's Day. What is April Fool's Day? Oh, it's like a horror movie. That's interesting. I don't know if I ever watched that. Oh my God, Reindeer Games is hitting 4K. Amazing. Why? Why are they putting Reindeer Games? Like, was that a big success? I didn't think it was that big. There's a Smile 2 Steelbook that's out, and Reservoir Dogs 4K Steelbook, and Heretic Digipack is also out. So lots of Quentin Tarantino Steelbooks coming out. We also got The Cell hitting 4K. Venom: The Last Dance Blu-ray. Looks like Here hits Blu-ray, which me and Maggie checked that out back, December, I guess. It's good. It's, Robert Zemeckis has been hit or miss for me recently, but I liked it. I liked the way he did this one. I thought it was really good. Hori Maya Season 2, calling it Season 2 is not very accurate. It's kind of fills in the gaps. Think of it like the Animatrix, but for Hori Maya. That's terrible. But it's called The Missing Pieces, and it is hitting Blu-ray. If you are a fan of any of the anime shows we talk about, Sailor Moon, Digimon, stuff like that, of course, my favorite film of all time, Your Name. If you're a fan of any of that and you haven't checked out Hori Maya, highly recommend. It's a really good show. Maggie and I binge watched it in like a day. Like, literally just started. It was like, oh, okay, so we're just not doing anything else today. We're just going to watch this whole thing. Let's see here. Rumors hits Blu-ray. I'm trying to see if there's anything else we really want to bring up here. Venom 3 movie collection on Blu-ray. Reindeer Games Blu-ray. And Till on Blu-ray. So there you go. That's everything hitting physical. Of course, we've got some other things coming out. So hitting digital is The Greatest Movie of 2024. I'm joking. It's it was a good movie. It's not my favorite movie of 2024. But Sonic 3 is on digital now. You can go over and purchase that if you would like to have it digitally. It looks like on Apple it's $24.99. I don't know if I'm gonna get it right this second. Like, I want to get it. I don't know. Like, our daughter loves it. So, I mean, I could justify it. And also, it does have that dance, the Robotnik dance scene, which anytime I think of it, makes me laugh. It's just a perfect scene. Maybe the funniest thing Jim Carrey's done in a good 20 years. It's perfect. I love it. Yeah, I'm probably going to buy it, ain't I? Then we also got Nosferatu coming out today on video on demand. I don't know why I said it that way. This is the new Nosferatu. I still haven't got a chance to check it out, so I'm kind of happy that it's hitting digital. I'm curious how much it is. I'd love for it to be like $19.99, but like I could also see it being $25. I definitely want to check it out. I might buy it. I don't know. We'll see. That's definitely a hard maybe for me. Coming to a TV show this week. So airing, I'll be honest, guys, there's not a whole lot of new stuff coming to TV this week, nor like Netflix or anything. But I did want to call this one out because I think it's ridiculous that this is happening. But the series premiere of the Joe Schmo Show. Sorry that the Elgato is being fun for everybody right now. But this hits TBS today. So this is the Joe Schmo Show, and if you're early millennial like me, you might remember that there was a show in 2003 about the same title, the Joe Schmo Show. It says, in this reboot of the 2003 show, one unsuspecting contestant thinks they are competing for a chance to win money among a group of scripted improvisers, each playing a different classic reality show stereotype. So he has no idea that the rest of the people are actually actors. And I believe Kristen Wiig was in the original run on the Joe Schmo Show. I mean, I feel like you can't really get away with doing this too often. So the fact that they are rebooting it almost, 20 years later, I think it's honestly probably the right call. I'm not going to watch this. It's TVS, so it's going to be hard for me to even track it down to watch it. But it's just, I don't know. I liked the idea of this show back in the day. But yeah, Joe Schmo show. It's also fun to say. Go ahead, give it a try. Right? It's fun, right? All right. Hey, there you have it. All right. We got James Gunn's take on the new DCU Canon and all the fresh releases to keep you busy this week, whether you're diving into Creature Commandos for the first time or catching up on this week's new movies. There's a lot to get excited about, my friends. But what do you think about Gunn's approach to canon? Do you agree with the idea that the Suicide Squad is an imperfect memory? Of course, you should let me know all that in my thoughts. Let me know all of your thoughts about my thoughts, is what I was trying to say, in the comments below. I would greatly appreciate it. You can share what you're planning to watch this week as well. Let me know if you're going to watch Joe Schmo Show. And if you do, let me know how it is. And if I need to try and figure out how to watch TBS digitally. Because I don't have cable. I don't have like digital cable, like YouTube TV or Sling or any of that stuff. And hey, you know, if you enjoyed today's episode, hitting the like button does way more than you think it does. It tells YouTube to share this with more people, and it helps us grow our awesome community that we're building. So I would appreciate it if you would hit that like button. Once again, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for me today. Tonight, we will be live streaming Going Back to Smallville at 9 o'clock right here on youtube.com/hopefullyawesome. And of course, I'll be back again tomorrow with another edition of Movie Mornings. But that is going to wrap it up for me. As always, thanks for watching. And as always, have a hopefully awesome day. Goodbye.